In today's video, I'm sharing with you how I created these Team Spirit canvases, so stay tuned. So I have my little micro canvas, and I'm going to show you how I prep these because when you open these up, at least from the company that I get them from, I generally have to do some kind of prepping to these to kind of get it to tighten up the canvas and stuff. So we're going to open this up. And these little canvases come with their own little stand, which I think is pretty cool. So the stand looks like this. And sometimes they're not very square, so you may have to do some things. This one's got a little rough edge, so I just keep some sandpaper handy, and I just clean up any edges. You know, these are just quickly made, probably from overseas somewhere, so I like to just hit them with a little bit of sandpaper. If this little bar is not sitting square, then you'll need to take your canvas, because if you can see, maybe kind of hard to tell, this canvas isn't completely square. It looks pretty square there. It's a little wompy. It's taller on this side than it is on this side. Maybe you can actually see that it's a little taller here. So some of that we can manipulate with painting it. Otherwise, what I do, I'll try to show you, I will set this on the frame, and if this isn't uneven, you can usually flip this around to where it actually sits on the frame and looks better. I think this way looks better. So it doesn't look quite as out of square. Okay, for me that may be the way to go. It's kind of hard for me to see with it laying down. Let me pick it up and see. Yeah, see, it's lower on this corner of this stand, so when I put my picture on and put that, it actually looks, the optical illusion makes it look like it's more square when I set it this way. So what I will do is just put a little arrow down letting me know that that's the way I want this canvas to sit on there. There's another little, you definitely want to make sure you sand off any potential splinters off of there. I think we got that. Then I take, if you'll notice when you look at it, this has all just been glued. So if you ever get one where your wood is not glued anymore, like that's not very, it's kind of got some wobble to it, you can use hot glue or wood glue. I'm going to use a little of this art glitter glue. I love this stuff because it dries really fast. It's not really a wood glue. But I'm going to just kind of see if I can't put some in there. I'm just going to use this for right now. Because this stuff dries really fast. And I'm going to hold that together while that dries. Grab me a paper towel here. I'm just going to hold this together. And then the other thing I do is I make sure that the canvas is all glued down. If it's not, I'll take my art glitter glue, but you can use any kind of fabric glue for this, it'd be fine. let's see. And then I think that's good. Now if you notice in the corners, you might have some fabric that's sticking up where the two corners meet. I will take a pair of I don't even know what these are called, wire cutters, I guess. And then I will just clip the fabric off in each corner. I usually have to do this on all the corners, and that'll give you a real tidy corner. Then we'll go, if there's any areas where it's loose, put a little fabric glue in there. If you have any fabric that's hanging over the edge, I'll also go and clip that off. So we're just kind of tidying it up to the kind of whatever you think needs to be tidied up. Now we're going to paint the edges of this. So if I exposed wood right here, that little gap, it's not going to matter because I'm going to paint over all of this and it's going to kind of cover that up. Okay, now that we've got that all done, and I think everything, all my corners are tight. Now if your fabric is loose, this isn't that bad, but if it is loose and you want to tighten it up, take some water. This is just a spray bottle full of water, and spray the inside of that canvas, because the outside's been prepped, so it's probably not going to penetrate as well, but this is raw canvas on this side. And kind of smear that water around so that it absorbs into that canvas, and then set that aside and let it dry, and it's going to tighten up your canvas. So we'll set that aside and let that dry. So now that our canvas is all prepped, I'm going to paint the background. I started out with silver, and I'm going to change my mind here in a minute and go ahead and do it gray. For this Team Spirit painting, I'm doing our local football team, which are the Buffaloes. So I'm just prepping the background with just a gray. I'm using the Liquitex Basics, and I'm just using a mixture of white and black. I'm going to paint the whole canvas. I've already, I can't tell if I had already painted. I'm going to end up painting the sides. No, I haven't. I'm going to end up painting the sides black. And this is where it's going to kind of help make your canvas look square. You can kind of manipulate that with painting the edges black. So I took and made this stencil. Now, most schools have trademarked, copyrighted their logos. So what I did was I got a Texas tracing off the internet, or a Texas outline, sorry, and then traced it. Then I found an F that I wanted to use in a font, and I created that. And then I went over it with another font for the Buffaloes. None of these are the exact font that the Buffaloes use, our school uses. So I would be able to sell this if I wanted to, because none of this is the same fonts that our school uses. So now that I have that all traced out, I'm going to start painting. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to outline the Texas first in black. This is just Mars Black. Again, this is just Liquitex Basics. And you could do, you know, you could do whatever kind of logo for a business, obviously for your schools, or Little League, all kinds of stuff. And these are quick and fun to make. So I'm going to outline the buffaloes, the word buffalo in black. And I'm using a micro filbert brush to do this, but whatever you're comfortable with would work. Or if you have paint pens, let's see, I have paint pens. I don't know what brand they are, and I don't have them on my desk here. But any kind of paint pen that's pretty much acrylic paint in a pen form would work also. So now I've mixed up a purple paint. This looks blue on the video, and for some reason my cameras, anytime I do anything purple, it always ends up looking blue. But this is definitely purple. So I'm painting the F in the purple. And now there's a little line to kind of define the F, and I'm doing that in black. I may be doing it in purple here, but I go back later and do it in black. I can't, it's kind of hard to tell. Now I'm filling out the buffalo in white. And I'm using a little detailed brush for this part. And this is just titanium white. And if you make any mistakes on this part, you just go back over it with the black and re-outline it, which I'll do later. But if you're doing something like this, don't stress out if you get kind of outside the lines. It happens. And I decided to lighten up my purple to make it wasn't, when it dried, it didn't match the purple of our teams, so went and lightened it up a little bit. Now I'm kind of going over the black outlines around the buffalo. And so I've changed that. That was definitely purple before. And I went and outlined around the F in the black. And then I decided, oh, I'm off screen. I decided to paint the Texas a silver so it would stand out and be a different color. So this is kind of an afterthought, but I do like the way it turned out. So this is the latex basics in silver. And I'm having to use a tiny detailed brush since I decided to do this, since this was kind of an afterthought. Would have been better to paint this first and then go in, and I would have done it in two parts. If I had done the Texas silver in the beginning, I would have painted it silver. I would have outlined it, painted it silver, then gone, once it dried, gone over with the F and the buffaloes and traced that on there. So I would have done it in 2 steps instead of just one. Now I'm going to paint and this is where, if your canvas is a little out of square like I talked about in the beginning, you just take that black line up over the edge just a little bit on the areas where it's out of square, and that'll give the optical illusion and kind of help make it look more square, because a lot of times these little bitty frames, the way they're constructed, they're not, you know, they're not perfect by any means. So I'll paint those, and then I'll paint the stand too to match a lot of times. And I'm just using the same basics, latex basics to do this. You could spray paint these if you wanted to. Might be a little faster, I don't know. I just water it down a little bit more and then hit it with the paint. I get impatient and don't like to let it dry, so I get pretty messy doing this. And I'm going to do another Team Spirit canvas, so I'm just going ahead and painting that one black also, the one for the next one. So now I'm doing a new canvas. This one is for the UT Longhorns. Now this I copied, I used the same Texas outline, and then I got the Longhorn emblem and traced it. Now this is definitely copyrighted and trademarked, so I would not be able to sell these. This is for a friend of mine. And on this one, I left the canvas white. I prepped it just like I did my other one. And then I painted the text as black. And then I'm just using I kind of made up a burnt orange. And I'm going to paint the Longhorn. So this one's like really super fast to make. So you can kind of see how you can just create whatever you want. And this would be a great project for kids. Now I'm painting the canvas. I'm going around and kind of tidying up the texts, the lines on the texts, and painting the canvas white in the meantime while doing that. And I did it this way instead of painting the whole canvas white to begin with. Since I was going to have to go over it, might as well just wait till the end to tidy up the texts. Now this is, the star is to indicate where Austin is, which is where the UT campus is located. I'm struggling with this little ear a little bit, so I had to kind of tweak around on that to get it right. And now I'm painting the edges again. I just think it looks cleaner with the edges painted black. And you can see this one's really fast. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like and make sure to share it with anybody that you think would like to make these team spirit canvases. Thank you so much for watching.